It's recording. It looks like it's recording.
Working tonight.
So yeah, we can just send Catalina some extra love for her and her family, and send Michelle some extra love for her and her daughter. So we will open up this vortex. I got my bowl tonight.
Mm-hmm.
We can all just take a deep breath. And allow your body to relax. Your shoulders to drop. And just feel your butt in your seat and let yourself settle in and be comfy. Allowing yourself to just be here together for this time. And allowing our energy to start to connect and come together as you align with your highest good. That you actually receive, that you let in the exact healing and the exact right dosage that you need tonight to move you forward on your healing path. I open the healing vortex that is the Happy Woman group training. And so it is. Excellent. Excellent. So let's get present with our thoughts. And the focus for tonight is breathing with your thoughts. I hope you've been enjoying the exercises. I have been enjoying the exercises, and it's part of what made the theme of the week acceptance in the Happy Woman group, because I've just been experiencing a lot more, as I do this exercise, experiencing a lot more self-acceptance at a deeper and more full level, to the point where I'm feeling lighter and happier about my quirks and things that I used to judge. And I'm really making an effort to use my thoughts to look at them as a superpower, to try to find the goodness in the weird things that either I judged or I thought were not good enough about myself. And it's been really great over these last few days of I've opened to just this deeper level of self-acceptance. I feel like I have a lot more energy moving through me, and I feel very joyful, very joyful. So we're going to spend this time really exploring your breath and your thoughts, and how your mind and breath and thoughts are all connected. So I'd love to have each of you presence yourself with one word that describes your thoughts right now. Casey?
Joyful.
Melissa?
Flowing.
Valeria?
And ambitious.
Dana?
Well, this week it's hopeful.
Beautiful. Muriel?
I'm going to have to say unsettled a bit.
All right. All right. Everything is welcome. All thoughts are welcome in this healing space. And let's open it up to wins. Oh, I'm going to share Catalina's win, which is, my win is that I'm able to spend time with my sister's kids and I'm going to try to do nonlinear movement with them in the park. So I suggested that she do fun movement and let them shake and wiggle and keep their eyes open so they feel safe and laugh, and that they get to do that all together to get through the challenge that they're in right now. So, okay. So Muriel, what's a win you've got to share?
Well, it kind of has to go along with the reason that my thoughts are unsettled. My youngest daughter had that semi-emergent surgery several weeks ago, and they got the pathology back, and the doctor called her Sunday at home. And she's being referred to a gynecological oncologist. There is a possibility that what was going on is precancerous. And so the win is that in the past, I would have spun out of control, and that would have been all consuming, but it's not. So my thoughts are unsettled, but I can bring myself back much more easily than I have ever been able to previously.
Oh, I'm so grateful to hear that.
Yeah, me too, and not going to the dark side immediately. Yeah. So that's mine.
Beautiful. Dana.
Okay, I have one comment which I think is related to why I'm hopeful, or another reason why. So I had mentioned last week that I had stopped drinking alcohol, and while I miss it terribly because I love the taste, it's been a good thing for me. I feel a lot clearer, not quite as dark about things. So that's been very good. And I spent a couple of days with my boyfriend, and we tend to go out and have a beer, and we didn't. And it was loads of fun. We were cracking up. So it was all good. And I think this kind of new state of mind is bringing more positive things in. So I'm scheduled to travel again to a conference to talk about this film I'm doing in Mexico City. And I decided, one of the things I always said is that I need to travel. I need to travel more before this is over, and I will be very upset if I don't. And I thought, what am I waiting for? So conferences are a good excuse for me to travel. So I just applied to like 5 international conferences and see what happens, and I'm getting reimbursed, and I wasn't going to get reimbursed for Mexico City. It wasn't on the list of international travel. So I kind of, had a setback. I'm like, oh no, this is going to be a financial burden now. But I was thinking positively, and what ended up happening is it just requires another layer of authorization, and they'll add Mexico City on the list if it's approved. So I'm just feeling a lot more settled and excited about the trip and all of that. So
Yes, woman.
yeah. Things feel good. That's why I said hopeful. Like,
Yeah.
the film and just, being in different places to talk about it, meeting different people. I'm feeling very energized by it now.
Oh, beautiful. And you're definitely, and I'm sure the other women can feel it and sense it too. You're radiating.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think I was like a dark cloud before, so like anything might be better. I felt very dark for the last couple of weeks. So thank you for seeing that. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. And congratulations on some fun manifestations. I'm the friend that my friends always call when they're like, should I take this trip? Because I'm always going to say, yes, go. Awesome. Valeria is too, right? You're always going to say, yes, go.
Yes. Yes. And I think like Dana just shared at least 8 wins. That's a lot of wins. Yeah.
Yes. No cap on wins. No cap on wins. So Valeria, what you got for us?
It's been a little challenging because I'm still going through, like not having enough work. And I had to say yes to Miami to do very low paid translations that I used to do like, 10 years ago. So I kind of felt I was like going back to, but in the middle of that, and also the guy I liked, kind of disappeared. But the win in it is I'm managing to, take the time to actually focus on myself and put myself first. So for Miami, I just felt like, okay, this is what I need just for now, but it's not, as soon as I'm done and I need, I get better paid gigs, I'd be like, hey, thank you, bye. And same with the guy, I'm like, okay, he's not the one, that's it, bye. So that was good that I was able to refocus.
Yes, sister. And you know what? Would you be willing to open up that maybe Miami can bring some new prosperity with it?
Sure, it's just like, Miami rates, but yeah, sure. I know.
Because the truth is we don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Right? I mean, that's
you can connect me indirectly to something different.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So
because that's a client who's always been nice to me, at least, and they were like so willing to open their arms for me when I said, hey, do you have some work for me? They're like, yes, come back. So
okay,
at least,
great.
Yeah.
So focus on that positivity.
Yes.
Because especially with what you've been through, having positive people that want you is a really good manifestation and a win for you.
Yes.
Right? So
yes.
then you just look at it, right? And then it's like, oh, well, the money isn't quite there, but there's this really good positive. Okay, let's open up to more money.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Let's open up to somehow, this is going to bring me more money. I'm just going to open up the avenues here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's more avenues.
I know they won't have the money to pay my rates, but maybe they have a connection they're going to indirectly put me with. Yeah.
Absolutely. Beautiful, honey. Thank you. Casey, what you win?
So, my win is that I have been in my current job for about 9 years. And I think I shared with you a little before, so I'm sure you know. And after the past 2 weeks of just like grueling heart stuff, I checked in with my body and I was like, I'm going to get my moon. I was getting my cycle on the full moon. So I was like, that's coming up. I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling worn down. I'm feeling like I've been through a dryer. And in the past, I probably would have pushed through that. But I called my supervisor and I was like, again, in the past, I would have been like, I'm sick because I'm genuinely sick to call off work. But I called her and I was just like, hey, Dawn. And she's like, hey, I was like, I'm just calling to let you know that I'm taking a mental health week. She was like, what? Feeling run down. I feel like crap. I was like, I work hard. I'm taking a mental health week. And she's like, oh, because no one does that. And then she just goes, okay. She's like, take care of yourself. And then I hung up the phone and I was like, oh my God. And so I was like, it was that easy. I made all these things. Oh, you're going to get knocked and blah, 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 like for like 9 years. And so this week I have just been completely taking care of myself. I'm not doing anything extra. And one of the things that I found that came from it is my normal work shift is 12 to 9:30 on weekdays. And by not having to work, my creative time, my time that allows me to be most creative is actually 11 to 4. And so yesterday and today, between 11 and 4, I've just been writing and creating and doing lesson plans, and this creative part of me flowing through. And I felt so stuck in that area. And it was because this shift doesn't work for me.
Right.
So I'm starting to piece together, and this week I'm pretending of what I would do, what I want to manifest for my dream job and my dream hours, because what I'm doing isn't working.
Yes, 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 yes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh my God, I'm so glad you're doing this course. I'm just like, yes, fuck yes. Awesome. So then, since you have this time, maybe revisit module 1.6, where you get to really envision,
Mm-hmm.
you know, your perfect life. And a great way to do that is to just go through, and I think we did it together here, just go through a perfect day. Perfect day.
Yeah, I like that. That'll be tomorrow.
Yeah, it's really great when you're doing restructuring to give yourself sort of this ultimate freedom of, wow, if you know, if money, time, everything were just no object, how would I get up and go about my day?
Like that.
It's very expanding to your energy, and it does something to your cerebral cortex. It's a great exercise. Yeah, awesome, honey. Melissa, what you got?
So, what do I got? I feel, well, in general, I just feel a little bit more productive when I'm actually working. So that's good. Because I was the queen of being distracted all the time. And given the fact that I have my own business, it's very easy to just, because you don't have much structure, you have to impose yourself some self-discipline. And so that is good. But really, I had an uneasy moment yesterday, like emotional, not too hard, but just kind of a uneasy moment, right? And I was really surprised about how, like, I bounced back like so quickly. I just was, all right, this is cool, because it just is this deep faith now that it's everything happens, you know. I don't want to say for a reason, but like you know, everything I'm manifesting or I want to manifest is going to happen, but maybe not the way I expected, right? So I have this faith of like, wow, this moment was with this particular, you know, guy I really like, and he's just very hot and cold and hot and cold. And it's so obnoxious, you know. It's kind of like I go there expecting like having this amazing connection, like last time we talked, and he's just like, sorry, I have a business call. And it's like this really like the energy was completely off. And I was just, normally it would have threw me for, you know, the whole day. I would have not worked, not being able to focus, not sleep well, and start to figure out how to text him and all this. And I was just like, that's it, I'm good.
All
so
right.
It felt really good to be in my power and not to let this mess up my energy. Yeah, that was a big one for me.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Excellent. Excellent. Wow, beautiful wins this week. Ladies, you're doing it. I love it. Getting centered, living from your power, right? Rethinking things. Man, attracting new things. Really, really, really beautiful. Really beautiful. So, we're going to go through, and I want you to get really, really clear on what you think when you're uncentered. What are some of the common thoughts? Usually they're fear thoughts, sometimes really strong self-judgments, sometimes strong judgments of others. But usually you have common ones because they have strong neural pathways. So they can be your most common uncentered thoughts. So you can each just share one would be great. But I want you to write it down for yourself, any of them that you think of, or maybe one that someone else says and you're like, oh yeah, I think that all the time. So we're going to go down the line here. Dana, do you have one? A thought that really uncenters you, or that you think when you are uncentered? Uh-oh, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, there we go.
Okay. See, they are whacking out my earbuds. It's the one I've been talking to you guys about aging, and I think it's not a fear of death. I mean, I probably have that too, but that's not the most prominent part of this thought. It's more about being, the idea of being invisible or not taken seriously. I mean, all those things that go along with it, rather than death.
Got it. Yeah, clear. Casey, what you got?
I'm not sure what the thought might be, but it's almost like, well, it's kind of like I doubt my ability to remember what I want to say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And do you have that experience where you can't remember what you want to say?
Yes. It's like I psych myself out and then I'm not able to remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a common trauma response is when we get disconnected, we can't speak.
Mm.
So this energy center closes. And that's because during trauma, we often weren't able to speak out because it wasn't safe, or to speak our needs. So it's something I used to have pretty debilitatingly.
Mm-hmm.
And that now, using nothing more than these 5 steps I've given you, I rarely get it. And something I teach every single woman I've ever worked with is the power of the pause, and of literally just saying, I just need a moment, hang on.
Yep.
Taking a breath, feeling their body, giving themselves some be time to come to center. And you can do it in a few seconds. And I will have people, and even in professional situations, I'll have people just wait.
Yeah.
Every time they just fucking wait. It's kind of amazing. They just silently wait. It's pretty great. So you get recentered, you get reconnected, and you can even say something like, okay, where was I at? And usually they'll tell you. It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, it's really great. So that's like that's a phenomenon that happens. But do you have any thoughts that either when you think you feel uncentered, or when you feel uncentered, you have some kind of thought that is pretty common to you? And it could be something like, this isn't safe.
Mm-hmm. This isn't safe, or
could be something like, I'll never be enough. I'll never be good enough.
Yeah. That one actually comes through. I'll never, actually, you know what? I'm not ready.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not ready.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Good.
Yeah.
Valeria.
I didn't click in the right spot. Like a mix of stuff, but when I think about the negative things that come to my mind, it always linked to hard, that hard and hard luck, like
Got it. Yes.
things that I'm
Yes.
everything comes to me the hard way. I have to work very hard to get things, and
Got it.
yeah.
Totally got it. Good job identifying it. Melissa, what you got on this one?
So I wrote down 2, but now that Valeria said that, I was like, I have something similar. A lot of thoughts. One that's very common for me is, this is never going to change.
Got it.
Like,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
it's constantly, it's like, I can't, it's like not having control over the outcome.
Yeah.
And then this leads to, you know, I'm not good enough to do this. I can't do it on my own, right? Like, so, you know, so, and then what Valeria said about
Hard.
not hard luck, but you know, when you think about everybody else can do it but me, sort of feeling, thoughts, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yep.
why does this happen to me? Like, it's a very victim, like, you know, thinking, but yeah. We talked
Yep.
about that.
Got it, girl.
Anyway,
Got
yeah.
it. Totally understand.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Muriel, what do your uncentered thoughts sound like?
Why even try?
Why even try? Totally. Totally got it. Yeah. Good job presencing it too. Energetically. Yeah. So what's so important, and why I want you to write these down, is so that you can become faster at becoming aware of when they show up. Doesn't mean they're true. All it means is you're uncentered. That's all it means, right? You're disconnected from your wholeness. You're disconnected from your power. And the ones that you named, they're going to be like your most common ones that can get you. So when you're centered, what are the thoughts then? And they may or may not be the direct opposites. They might not have anything to do with these thoughts. That's fine. But when you're centered, what are your thoughts like? Like when I'm centered, my thoughts are just like, oh, it's okay. Whenever it happens, it happens. It's going to happen in the perfect time. You know, my thoughts are just so accepting and easy when I'm centered. So, Muriel, what are your thoughts like when you're centered?
Very much like yours. Yeah, when it happens, it happens. I think mine is more of a safety centered kind of thought, like, you know, it's okay. You're okay. You're going to be okay.
Great. Great. Write that down.
Yep.
Write that down. Beautiful. And Dana, what about you?
Kind of piggybacking off of this isn't going to change, or those things aren't going to come to me. I think they are. I feel the movement towards them.
Ooh, I love that you brought in the visceral there. Like you feel the movement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting, because then when it's the other, you feel the stuckness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So write that down too.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You feel the possibility, but you also have a sensation of movement. Great. Really important to become aware of. Valeria, what do your centered thoughts sound like?
I'm just thinking because I found funny how it is usually related. It is usually because I was thinking of when I'm the most centered, I can feel like everything's possible, and I can feel connections in a lot of levels. You know, I feel like everything makes sense, and it's so easy compared to hard. It's like, so I feel like a little relief.
Relief, yeah.
Yeah.
Great. So go ahead and write that down. I want you to be really clear on it. Really clear. And Melissa, what are your centered thoughts like?
I think people have been saying a lot of mine. Um, I like what Muriel said about it's going to be okay because of that deep inside. And so that is, or like everything's going to fall into place how it should be, like this whole phase. There is times where I feel really unstoppable. I like the thought of being like, I could do this and that and I could do it all, you know? So the
Yeah.
possibilities again, I see
Yeah.
all the possibilities. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Beautiful. Be sure to write it down. And Casey?
So it's very, very similar, kind of in the same vein. The phrase is everything is always working out for me.
Mm.
That comes through. And then my thoughts also tend to be more gratitude based. So
Yes.
like, oh, I'm thankful for running water. I'm thankful for whatever it might be, because they're very gratitude based.
Excellent. Excellent. Mine too. Mine, I noticed that more as well. Yeah. Yeah. So this is so great. Y'all are so brilliant. This is so great because instead of being a victim of the thought, you can be the one who directs your mind. And it's such a powerful place because it has such a, as you've described, a sensation and an energy frequency to it, and a movement and an openness. And you get to use that. We're so trained that the things happen and then we feel. And then we think. Instead of we feel and think, and that's how we enable things to happen. It's a much more powerful position. So I want you to become really aware of the thoughts that hurt you and the thoughts that heal you, because you're using them either way, right? You're using them either way. So you might as well use them to help you feel better. And you all have the ones that work for you already. So what you want is you want to make those neural pathways stronger, 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 stronger. And that happens through repetition. The more you repeat it, the stronger the neural pathway gets. And realize that a lot of the ones that hurt have a very strong neural pathway and have probably for many, many years, maybe even since your childhood, some of them. Right? Either messages that have happened repeatedly throughout your childhood that maybe you've picked up around you that aren't even really personally yours. That happens too from our society, but also just internal ones that have gotten really strong. So it takes that so much repetition to make the positive one stronger. So keep that up. These are all, you've just written down the ones that work so well for you. And we're gonna take a moment and go through the training exercises for this week together. I really wanna, what's the word, like imbue you with the energy of this to help raise your vibration and help make it easier for you. So you can stay where you are. You don't have to move. You can just sit comfortably. And we're just going to use our breath. So you're going to first place a hand or both hands on your solar plexus. So your solar plexus is right there, that soft spot under your breastbone. So you can just place one or two hands over there. And eyes open or closed, whatever works for you. Just start taking some breaths as if you're breathing in and out of your hand. Letting the breaths just be full, round, calm breaths. And then as we keep this breath going, we're going to affirm kindness in our mind. Meaning thoughts like, my thoughts are kind. So I want you to affirm about your actual thoughts. So we really start programming you to use kind thoughts. So we can start with, my thoughts are kind. My thoughts support me. I use my thoughts to make me feel better. I calm myself with kind thoughts. So I'd love to witness each of you saying something kind. I'm going to unmute you. Nope, it won't let me. Gosh, even though I'm in control. Let's see. There we go. I can do it. Casey, what's your kind thought about your mind?
I love myself.
Wow, you are the only person it will let me unmute. Muriel, what's a kind thought about your thoughts?
I think about things that make me smile, that make me happy.
Great, great. Valeria, what's a kind thought about your thoughts?
I was thinking more of my intuition. I was thinking that my intuition serves me.
Cool. Nice. Nice. Melissa.
My thoughts are leading me in the right direction.
Ooh, okay. My thoughts are leading me in the right direction. Nice.
So we're tuned with you, Melissa, today.
Huh?
We're very tuned with Melissa today.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Melissa, it won't let me unmute you. You'll have to do it yourself.
Dana.
Oh, Dana. Yeah. Sorry, I'd love to hear yours.
I was thinking I am worthy and I make a difference, but in thinking about thoughts, I think it's important that I say I can control my thoughts.
All right. Yeah.
Because I doubt that sometimes.
Yeah.
I can control my thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so remember, what we're doing right now is a hybrid. So we're using breath to get into that mental center, right? So really combining, right? Positive affirmations are a step 5, but bringing in positive affirmation with the breath at the same time.
Mm. Can I ask you a question, Elizabeth,
Yeah, honey.
about the exercise?
Yeah.
So it's something that we keep in our mind, right? Because we can't breathe and say the thing at the same time.
True.
I mean, so you say it out loud?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I do this out loud all the
To
time.
breathe and do it out. I found it very hard to breathe and say my line at the same time.
Well, we usually speak on an exhale.
Oh, okay. Because I was like trying to talk, and I was like, well, that's not gonna work. So I was doing it mentally, but I was like, maybe that's not as strong as saying it. Okay,
Yeah,
I got it.
saying it out loud is great because it brings it into the physical realm.
Okay. Can I ask another thing about the exercise?
Always.
I did it laying down on the floor.
Cool.
Is it good too? Because I feel more connected, and I can feel the back. The extra thing that you were talking about. I can feel like it's rubbing at the same time, and
Nice.
so I felt more. So that's good too, right? To do it laying down.
Any way that y'all can get to feel it easier.
Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you.
For sure. For sure. Yes. A lot of stuff, even when I was in energy healing school, I had to start it on the ground. It helps you to stay grounded too. It can also lower the threat in the brain.
And it's also, I still have my problem with the tingling everywhere. So when I breathe very profoundly, I can feel like a lot of in my face and my arms. And when I'm laying down, I think, and that's why I really think it's something in my cervical, because when I'm laying down is way better.
Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's part of why I felt it more comfortable on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and good taking care of yourself too.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-oh, did we get everybody on that one? Did I skip anybody? Or did I get everybody? I got everybody. Okay. All right. So I'm just looking at what's coming up. Oh, yes. So saying and we'll go to each person again, but keep breathing into that solar plexus area. And just saying something that you need to hear. Something that you need to hear, right? So this week I've really been working with, I accept myself as I am. So Casey, you gave us one before that felt like something you needed to hear. This one, could you give us one that is directly about your mind or your thoughts or your intuition?
My intuition is spot on.
Yeah, nice. Nice. My intuition is spot on. I love it. Beautiful acknowledgement too. Muriel, what thought do you need to hear right now?
That I'm doing the best that I can, and it's enough.
Oh, girl. That's very powerful. Yeah. I'm doing the best I can, and that's enough. I think we can all breathe with that. That's a good one to breathe for a while. Melissa, what have you got?
I can do this.
I can do this.
Simple.
Yes, yes, I can do this. Yes. Dana, what you got?
You're beautiful in every possible way that word can be defined. Let's just go full all out, right?
Let's just do it.
I don't want to put a cap on definitions there.
I am not going to hold you back or slow you down either. I'm not even going to rein that one in. I'm like, go. And it's true, right? So this taking the time to breathe it,
Yeah.
right? Because underneath those scary, choppy waves of thought that are up here, when we come down to that centered bottom of the ocean, that's when we get to feel, think, hear what is really true. I am really beautiful in every way.
Why the ocean, Elizabeth?
No, just as saying that our thoughts can be like waves on the ocean.
Oh, okay.
But you know, when there's a storm at sea, the bottom of the ocean's always calm.
That's true.
Storms don't hit the bottom of the ocean. All the fish swim down there. They're fine. They don't know, they don't feel the storm. They don't get caught up in waves. So that's how I think of my center. It's like the bottom of the ocean.
That's
Down
a
there,
great
there's no
analogy.
storm.
A useful analogy. I like that.
It really helps me. And I'll tell you, I was, why it so personally sinks in for me and I use it so often is when I was 13, I was sailing in the Virgin Islands in a 39-foot boat, and we got caught in Hurricane David, one of the most destructive hurricanes in a century or more. And we were in a little 39-foot boat. And we were in 30 to 40-foot waves.
No.
And it was one of the few times in my life I ever defied my father because I was terrified of him. But I thought I was going to die. So I was like, I'm going to die anyway. So I'm not going to die below deck. I'm going to die on top. So I put on the rough weather gear and I went to the top of the boat, and you have to lash yourself on or you'll go over the side in a second, So you're like harnessed to the
Oh
boat.
my God. That's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yes.
And because I didn't know that the fish swim to the bottom, my biggest fear was not that I was going to drown in this storm. It was that a shark was going to come over the wave and bite me. That was my biggest fear.
Wow.
So once I learned that all the animals all the fish go to the bottom of the ocean, that really this analogy always really sticks with me. Right.
They're a lot smarter than people are.
They don't try to defy nature and control it. Yeah, they go with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. So and well said, Dana, because we try to defy it.
Mm-hmm.
What we need to do is just get centered.
Yeah.
Go underneath all our crazy, all our choppy waves of terrifying thoughts. Bring it back down to the bottom of our own ocean, where we're like, oh yeah, I'm beautiful. I'm safe. I am more than enough. Because that's always there.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't go away. We go away. Beautiful.
That's helpful.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. Valeria, what you got?
I was thinking, I love you, I'm here for you, and I've got your back.
I love that for you.
Yeah.
I love that for you. Can you say that a few 100,000 more times, please?
Yeah.
That is so good for you, girl. Who didn't we hear? I'm so disoriented with less people on. I keep thinking there's more people. Did we do everybody? Okay, we did it. Beautiful. I love that. I love that. So please keep practicing this. Now remember, like, you're not going to get a module on Thursday, so I'd love for you to keep practicing this for the next, whatever it is, 8-9 days until the next module comes, because this is so important and so great. So keep these great ones going that we just did together, so that you really start making those strong neural pathways to that deeper truth, right? That's always there. Because remember, when you're stressed, the fear comes up and the scary thoughts get louder. They amplify. So all those scary thoughts that uncenter you get really loud when the stress happens. It's like stress equals scary thoughts. They always go together. So use it as alarm bells to remind you to come back to center. It keeps you present. It keeps you here now. Right? Often when I'm feeling really depressed, it's because I'm thinking about my past. And when I'm feeling really anxious, it's because I'm worried about the future.
Mm-hmm.
But in the present, you can just drop into your center and feel good. I was just in a session with one of my one-on-one clients this morning, and you know, she's pretty deep into her training, and she was relaying to me a common conflict that comes up. She runs a business with her sister, so you can see how intertwined that could be and how challenging that could be. And one of the things that she came up with, I was like, oh, I really want to make sure I remember to share that in the class tonight, which is, we can get addicted to the thoughts that hurt because they give us a little adrenaline boost. So not only are they an ingrained habitual pattern and a strong neural pathway, but they can also come with this extra shot of adrenaline, and we can get addicted to that chemical and producing the chemical in that way. So what I'd love for you to start playing with is, as you breathe these thoughts that help to center you and help to make you feel good, that you also feel the thrill of that. Because the thought can come with its own discomfort. We can think, oh, it's not true. We can start to fight against what feels good. We can fight against positivity. Or we can allow ourselves to just feel kind of a thrill of joy and of happiness. And that's what I want to start help shifting you towards, is that you go after that goodness. You know, we're all going to have our habits and our addictions and our, right, we're human. How about making them as positive as possible and as happy as possible? So who has something they want to share? Anything?
Well, I think I'll say something. It doesn't feel very big, but it was still a moment today when you were talking about feeling joy. And I hadn't felt this in a long time. And I was out on my bike, and it's a beautiful day in Chicago. There have been other beautiful days. And I just felt like, oh my God, this feels so good. This is like the part, you know, feeling the breeze on me and looking at the sun and the shadows on the leaves. I mean, it's been a long time since I've, you know, experienced bike riding like that. So it was nice.
I love it. And you ride a bike a lot. So it's so great when you're doing something that you've done often and you can just appreciate it anew.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when I first started riding, and what drew me to riding, and I've been doing this for 20 years now to commute, is the smells, the things I could see, but also the smells that I would have never smelled, some good and some bad, on my way places. You know, I go, oh, there's the Greek neighborhood. Oh yeah, there's the Mexican place. And, you know, it's through smells. And it was like this sensory experience in a very different way. So when I go back to that, because it was the real joy I had when I first started, it's a thrill. You know?
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. I miss riding in Chicago.
Yeah.
I rode my bike for a decade there and I loved it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to pick on you. I'm just going to remind my local girls that there's a possibility that they have something to share in the group. I'm not going to push either of you.
We want to hear about the swap party.
The swap party was fun.
What party?
There was a clothing swap party here this weekend.
Swap. Okay.
Yeah.
First I thought you said sweat party. I'm like, okay, it's hot there. I don't know. Okay.
It is pretty muggy. No, we had a swap party and it was really fun. And Melissa and Casey were here, which was fabulous. But one of you who was saying something, and I was like, share that in the group because the group needs to hear about it.
That's so funny. You know, and then for a minute I was like, I don't even remember what it was. I was like, oh, but I think I do. I was talking to you about my business, right? So, okay, all right. So you wanted me to share that. So this has been a very long process. It's been amazing. And for me, it's like the process of faith, right? I've done a lot of different things in the past, try to do a lot of different types of healing and, you know, work for personal development, all that stuff, right? And I had an episode, I'm just giving you guys some background so you understand where I'm coming from. I had an episode last year in the fall, and Casey knows, and Elizabeth too, about, so I'm a very go type of person, right? I was like kind of wired to be busy and do things all the time and literally push myself to the edges to where I would physically get like tired. I got mono in my life. I mean, right? I really makes a joke out of it, right? And she calls me like Katrina, like the hurricane, right? So this is like how she defines me. So, and you know, for me, so I was really much in my masculine constantly, right? And to make a long story short, I discovered in the fall, I started taking more care of myself. So slowing down and doing more meditation, doing more self-care and doing different things like this, just to literally, because I just knew, I comprehended from a mind level that, you know, when you slow down, take care of yourself, you're more productive, right? You just kind of, I understood that. I didn't know how to do it. So I just kind of almost forced myself to get into this, and I started reaping some of the benefits. And what happened at that moment during that period of 3-4 months is I started without knowing, like centering myself more, right? Being more in alignment, and things started falling into place. And like ease started coming to me. And I was like, wow, I don't have to hustle for all of this anymore all the time. It's just this thing where I just got to a point, especially in my business, that I always had to work so hard and face so much resistance. It was always so difficult to get that little, like that one client or that one, you know, opportunity or this. And I just knew deep inside it wasn't right? There's a better way to do this. And I manifested Elizabeth, right? We met during that time. She emailed me. I was like, oh, this is amazing. And I discovered like feminine, the balance between all this. Anyways, and then what happened is I had a little period where I got away from that. So I went back to my old self, right? I started getting back into busy. And then I exhausted. And then I realized, oh, this is not working. I need to go back to this. So I basically did this. I got off February, March, was it April-ish, about 2-3 months. And then I realized, oh, you're doing this again. So I caught myself, which is amazing, right? So I was like, okay, learning experience. So I got back to do my meditation, my morning routine, a lot of self-care, working half the hours and getting so much more done. And then what happens every time I do this is that you can call it whatever you want, but I get like, I call it downloads, like, right? I get these creative ideas, these amazing thoughts, and then opportunities come to me. People email me, people call me. I meet the right person. I'm thinking of something and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to put it out there. And it just comes to me. So it's like, you know, it's manifesting, but it's just, so I was really stuck in my business and I knew what I wanted as far as outcome. And I didn't know how it was going to happen. Right. So what I wanted in my business was working less hours because I was overworked. And I wanted to make more money, obviously, because I was getting paid nothing. And I wanted to be able to create more freedom to where, like, if I wanted to take a day off, then I can, I don't have to like respond to my phone, right? Or Facebook for a day or two, or even a week of vacation. I've never had a vacation in the last 6 years, like an actual vacation, right? So I was like, enough is enough. So I just started meditating on it, and it's like, the answers will come to me, and it started coming layer by layer. And I was very patient with the process. And what I did is I just followed my intuition. When it felt right, I just, okay, I'm going to implement this. And then the next thing, and it's just amazing now because I've kind of like developed this whole plan. My business has been restructured completely. And I'm like, I'm not 100% there, but I just know where I'm going. I have so much clarity. And I just know that all I need to do is to keep doing that. It's just going to fall into place. I'm super excited. I wanted to share this so you guys, like, to motivate you guys to continue to just do that work, because making those decisions when you feels so much better and easy. Anyway, that was my experience. Is that what you wanted me to share?
Thank you, honey. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's making the decisions from center. It's almost like the decisions make themselves. Because then opportunity just appears, and it's just, oh, I'm going to do that now. Right? And every single one of us has challenges in our life. Always will. The challenges are never going to stop. But if we can take that time, which is not very much time because it saves you so much time. If we can take that time to get centered first, the next thing appears. The next person appears. The next opportunity appears. Giving yourself the few seconds sometimes is all it takes to take deep breaths, check in with and take care of your body. Give yourself some time and space every day to be, but even in challenging moments, saying something kind in your mind, then taking an action. That it's always in that order. And that can be done literally in seconds, and you can spend hours on each thing. But I want you to get really used to, this is how I live now. I live centered. All I need to do is take some deep breaths, take care of my body, give myself a little extra time. Right? I want it to become very simple and very natural for each of you. And you're wired to do it in a different way. And now you're wiring, you're in the process of that. It just is your natural way of being. And I can attest that, considering I used to be like a, Chihuahua on crack, I am now 99.9% of the time really calm and centered, even when things come at me fast and I get thrown. I start my breathing. I started immediately. Who has anything at all they want support with? Bring it.
Can I share something? Because I'm in tune with Melissa and the business side too. That's funny. Because I had an idea that came to me. I mean, it's been coming. I mean, it's not new, but it's something that gets. I was always feeling that would be a possibility, but now I'm like, ooh, that's completely possible. So because so much work right now because of Netflix, I'm in localization. I do dubbing and animation for the ones who don't know what I do. And Netflix is like, so Netflix making decisions that is affecting all of our careers as voice directors, you know. So all the languages, they don't want anything done in LA anymore right now. So it obviously took a lot of our work, because I speak Spanish and French, you know. French and Spanish is not done in LA for Netflix, and a lot of people are doing it. Even if they're not Netflix, they're like, ooh, Netflix doing it, we're gonna do the same thing. So with my best friend Claire, who's also in the same world, we were like trying to think of ways to get business to us. And so it would be like more doing collaborations with animation schools and things in France. So I found contacts today. I was like thinking about it, and I found a guy who does. He's like a lawyer, but he does like some training and stuff in a school in the house where I was born. Isn't that weird?
What?
I know, because the house where I was born was transformed into an animation school. Isn't that fun?
Wow.
Yes, I know.
If that was in a movie, I would not believe it.
I know. It's funny. So when I just discovered that was a clinic for a little bit, and then it was completely abandoned, and the city bought it, and now it's an animation school, international animation school. So I'm like, hey, maybe some energy is still there for me, you know? So
when you contact them, I would definitely mention it.
So that's what I'm going to do today. So that's the
Fantastic
thing I wanted to share. I'm going to offer formations, and on top of it, you know, that will pay my trips to see my mom.
Yes.
So I was like, ooh, it's a win-win-win-win-win.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm doing today.
Honey child, right on.
I know.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So who else?
So I'll let you know how it goes.
Please let us know how it goes. That's a wild one. Who else would like some extra support? Or anything you got going on? Now's the time. And if you have the thought, I don't want to take up the time, then you really have to take it up right now.
I have a question. During a meditation session today, and this is maybe a question for you and possibly Melissa as well, or anybody else who has any insight, but I was noticing that I have like there was like this tension in like the left side of my face, and it felt like it was very like, it almost feels like the muscles overall, like on my left side, feel like they're like atrophying just a little bit, or they're a little less like tight than the other side. And I was wondering, from your experiences, is that like I know there's certain, like my sense is like there's a certain time between like the feminine and the masculine side, but I was just wondering if you had any insight on that.
I don't know anything about that directly to you, Melissa?
So I have a question. Did you feel that because you became mindful of how your body feels, or did this happen during the meditation, as you know, later into the meditation?
It happened during the meditation, and then I realized that it was like regularly something there that I just wasn't noticing as much. Yeah.
On the left side?
Mhm. Yeah.
So, well, I don't know how you meditate and what, you know, like, so I'm not sure if it's an actual practice of mindfulness or actual meditation, but what I can potentially think it could be is a couple things. The left side of your brain is logic. You know, a lot of times when, were you trying to direct your thoughts? Were you trying to focus on something?
I think so. I'm trying to think back to it.
Just from what I've learned is that when you try a little too hard to direct your focus, or to you know, to control basically your meditation, is that it can cause some headaches or some tension.
Yeah.
It can happen in the meditation process. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah.
So that's all I could think of. Yeah, I mean, is this something that happens to you normally, like, or this
It was
is just happened during your meditation?
It was like a new thing that happened today, and I was like, oh, this is weird. So I figured, I was like, I'll just
Okay.
ask to see if there's any, like, if that bring any bells, but it could. I'm thinking it's probably just going to be something that will become more clear in time.
I mean, if it could simply be, you know, the temporalis muscle gets very tight. And it could also be that because you were in a deepened state of awareness, you were noticing the tightness that's there.
Okay.
Right. So especially anyone who spends time on the computer or reading a lot or even thinking really hard, this band of muscles gets exceptionally tight. So often you don't notice it until it starts to change. So you could even notice that it was relaxing and re-innervating, right?
Yeah.
Like more blood moving.
Yeah. Okay. That feels a little more. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, because it kind of felt like it was like kind of coming online all of a sudden in a weird way. Okay.
Oh,
cool.
So it was not like tension.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was probably what you might have been feeling is tension releasing.
I was gonna say it's either this or that.
Okay. Cool. Thanks, you too. Appreciate your super brains.
It takes a village. Who else has something I could specifically, and the group energy could specifically support you with, even if it's just something where you're like, hey, just hold me in your heart for this thing.
I do. Actually, I think I'm doing very well with this process, but because I've been restructuring my whole business and I feel like I'm doing the right thing, but it's still very challenging. It's very, it's a little bit scary, and I have to keep reminding myself that I can do this. There's bits and parts of that process that are extremely challenging for me. Like, for example, like finding leads and just trying to, you know, get people to sign up for my program. So, yeah, I need a little support with that, just to come. I mean, I'm doing it, but I don't know if there's anything we can.
Melissa, can we ask you what's your business? Because I don't know what you do. What's your business?
Okay. So I'm in the health and fitness area, but the program I'm building is only for women right now. It's a 12-week online course. It's brand new for me, like, because I used to be in the gym and, you know, hands-on type of thing. Because what I bring to the table is a more holistic approach to health and fitness. And it's basically a connection between nutrition, movement, self-care, and mindset to create a foundation to improve metabolism and health. And so it's very much 180 degrees to what most of the fitness industry is teaching out there, which is more exercise and less food. Mine is completely the opposite. It's like nourish your body and give it just the proper movement that it needs to thrive. So it's about thriving and not surviving. You know, the content, the information that I'm teaching is going to be the same. The format, the delivery, the vehicle I'm going to use is going to be different. And I just have these little mental barriers, right? These little fears of like, what if this or whatever, you know, anyways.
Perfect. This is perfect. This is perfect to bring to this week too.
Okay.
So, and this goes across the board for everyone, not just Melissa. Whatever it is that is your challenge, you affirm the opposite. And you open the doorway, right? You open the doorway to letting it come in. So it's easy to get leads. I have great new ideas for leads. I make great contacts for leads. It's so easy for me to attract new clients.
Wow. Okay. This feels good.
Yeah.
Can I also offer something? Because I feel like Melissa and I, we're on the same, with two different completely business, but we're on the same journey right now. You know, I have my new studio I'm building and I'm looking for clients and leads for work. So we can help each other, motivating each other, you know, be like, hey, so did you send messages? Or even if we can't help each other in the concrete, who you could talk to, because we don't know our industries, but the energy of being out there and just trying to, you know, say the affirmative things of like, yay, I'm doing it. I mean, I don't know. It's just something I'm offering you, Melissa, because I feel like we're on the same energy today. So.
Right. And just use it on the Facebook forum.
Yeah.
Right? Just pop on. Take a second. Pop on and do it.
And we can speak French. No, I'm joking.
That's right. You can do it in French. Which
Nobody will understand.
Well, but I always say, you know, do it in whatever energy frequency is going to be the most powerful for you. So, and I mean that if French is more powerful and more direct of energy frequency, definitely do all of your energy frequency mindset work in the language that is the most powerful for you. And play with it too. Maybe some words work better in French and some words work better in English.
Like some words. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because there's been a shift at some point, right? I think all my work has been built in English, so it's more like English is more powerful in this case. Yeah. I feel like, so to go back to what you said, like these statements, they're powerful statements that are basically the opposite of my fears or doubts. So you would use those while I'm doing this exercise, basically?
Breathing. Yep, because you want to open up that energy center, right? That's your mental center.
Yeah. Okay.
And I mean, this is great too, to really use this over the next week. Is really great. Just whatever it is you feel is the block for all of you across the board, affirm the opposite. Because the opposite is just as true or truer. And you really want to open up the energy lines coming to you, the energy channels coming to you.
Yeah, because when you said it, I felt the vibration, I felt the different energy, and it felt really like fun, you know, and easy.
And it's, you know, we're in our society, right? We're thinking so often. And you might as well use the mind for what it's good for, which is directing energy, directing focus. If the mind isn't busy doing something positive for you, it will do something negative for you. So fill it with what you want. Make it busy. The mind's going to be busy anyway. Make it busy with what feels good, with what you want it to be thinking. Get out of that cycle of being a victim of your thoughts and into the driver's seat and controlling them. But not controlling them in a hard way. right? Controlling them with softness, controlling them with love, controlling them with humor. Humor is one of the things that works absolutely best for me.
Mm.
You know, like one of my money affirmations that's worked for me for years is, I have more money than I can possibly spend.
I love that.
It lightens my heart. It makes me laugh. It brings in fresh energy, and I've been using it for years. I have more money than I can possibly spend. And since I haven't spent every dime I have, it's true.
I have you know, one day you gave us a $10,000 bill. Do you remember that? I have it in my fridge because that's what I need to make right now. So I'm like, oh, where's this bill? So I put it in there. So every morning I'm like, $10,000 a month. There you go.
That is fan-freaking-tastic.
So I have a question about, you know, being centered or feeling clarity. I feel like there's a lot of possibilities and things that I want to do. So I have a lot of things going on, you know, in terms of teaching, work, side projects. And what I think happens to me is I get so here about, oh yeah, that's a great idea. I could do this and I could do that. And then, but I don't do it, you know? So one of my, this is probably more logistical, but I'm not sure how to balance the, oh yeah, excited thinking about stuff, and then maybe being a little overwhelmed with all the different things, and actually figuring out how to structure my life so I can do those without feeling frazzled or guilty that I'm spending time on something that may not be directly related to work, but is, you know.
Yeah. So
yeah.
there's different structure systems and different ways to structure it, but you do need a structure that works for you, for sure. And just something I do that's very simplified is I use my notes in my phone. And so I have categories at the top, and I put them in underneath, so I can at least have them in a file that's always with me. And then I refer back to them and I put them into a bigger file. As far as the affirming, use it as your magic wand as well. And what I mean is, as you're having the thoughts, include the thought, I follow through on this. I put this in the right place right now. And I do this for myself. I write this down right now. When I get home, I have a file called Do It Woman. When I get home, I put it on Do It Woman. Right? So I have time where I come and I get it out and I'm like, ooh, right. Oh, I had that idea for a video. Yes, I'm going to put that on my video section of Do It Woman. And when it's time to make videos, right? So find an easy system that works for you, because you also, you know, you want your system to help you flow and to give you more freedom to be creative and flow. You don't want your system itself to bog you down.
Right.
Yeah,
that's always been a big challenge for me. So I guess that's why I'm bringing that. Because some of the things that aren't work related are the things that bring me joy. And I don't, you know, they get put down at the bottom of the list. Well, if you finish the work, you can do that. And like almost like a reward. But that's, I often don't get there.
Right. So one of the things, and I just can't remember, I'd have to go back and look and see if we've already done it or if it's still coming, is I actually think it's in the last section, but I can look it up for you. We structure out the day, and it's so fresh in my mind because we did it in the workshop. So we really structure out, where can I place all of these things? And for now, what I will give you is, you have to structure in be or nothingness. And you have to structure in play. If you don't, if this is for everyone, if you don't put it on your calendar, you will overschedule, you will overdue, or you'll just veg out and you won't do the fun things.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'll think about this over the next week.
Yeah,
or
just,
so. Yeah.
Use the tools that we have, right? We have this amazing
Mhm.
tool here where we can just put it on our calendar. I mean, I have, when to take some herbs I'm taking on an alert on my calendar. I have when to breathe and to remember to breathe, alert on my calendar. So find a way, again, that just works for you, that has an ease to
Mhm.
it, where even if it's blocking out 15 to 20 minutes a day to put things in a structure.
Okay. Right. Block out the time to structure, right?
Yes.
I like it. Okay.
Dana, honestly, I would go do that like now when you get
Yeah.
off the call.
Yeah.
Is look at your days and like, ooh, the truth is it takes way less time to do it than the
Mhm.
psychic space it takes up
Yeah.
in thinking about it.
No, it's true. I mean, I feel like I spend a lot of time there. Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I think
That's so
Can I
funny.
piggyback on that?
you can
Yeah,
structure it out in
we're
like
all
10
like, oh my God.
Good.
Because when you think about it, you think too much like, I have to write it down. I have to write it down. But we don't write it down. It
Yeah.
takes way more energy than just like take 1 second.
Yeah.
And my mom is always telling me, every time I talk to my mom and I'm overwhelmed by something, she's like, make a list. That's her only, like big make a list. But that's true. She makes lists and she writes down like things of the garden and stuff because she's retired. But she makes a list of everything she has to do, and
And there's
the satisfaction of having it done, even if it's something fun or
Right.
good. But just like, oh, I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's also ways, I mean, there's different brain systems, but there's ways where you can put categories.
My mom is a piece of paper.
Like work, home, relationship, fun. So you can have headings,
Mm-hmm.
and then under them put specifics. Which I've had a lot of concussions, so that helps me. That's on my Do It Woman. It's out in categories. That just helps me.
Yeah.
And then I make sure that I'm more balanced and I'm hitting them all.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually is calming for me.
Mm-hmm.
To have that. And I always keep it open on my laptop. It is always up. So I can add and take things off, and then using this beautiful tool.
Yeah. There is an anxiety around thinking about things you want to do and not doing them, or thinking you don't have enough time.
Yeah.
That does produce anxiety, right?
Yes. Absolutely.
So Dana, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I've had this for years. This wasn't my biggest problem, and I don't remember where I heard this. But there's a coach or someone who told me, you spend so much energy, because I'm super overly creative. But that's also my downfall sometimes. Oh, this is actually my business coach. He said, but now you're spending so much energy on all these ideas and planning this. When it comes down to do it, there's no more energy left. So what I do, literally, I'll have these ideas, and I will schedule time in my days where I have journaling or things where I can write these things. Like that time is so important. I have to do it either in the morning or at night. But I will just pick one idea and start doing the first step of it. Not the whole planning, because I would just plan out the whole thing and get to the end of it and there was nothing left to do it. So I would just be like, okay, let's say I want to start going biking and I don't have a bike, I don't have a bike rack, I don't have any of it, right? It's complicated. I'm thinking, oh, this is a great idea, but how am I going to do this? So the first step is, let me look for some used bike shops. That's all I'm doing that day.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know what I mean? So it's good to have a place to write those ideas down, but just take the first step towards one of those ideas. You'll feel so much better, because that feeling of guilt, I've had it for so long. It's just as grueling.
Yeah.
No,
that's exactly. Yeah.
You
That's
put the
exactly.
thing on the list, and then you put one step
Mm-hmm.
on your calendar.
Okay.
Just one
A baby step.
Yeah.
Yep. Baby step.
Okay. I'm going to try that. Categories, and then see if I can find out like stats. No, I feel you, Melissa, when you talked about being kind of frantic. I mean, I don't think I'm always on the go frantic, but I work in so many different places and doing so many different things that I feel frantic. And I need a way to organize it, you know, in my head or somewhere else so my head feels organized and not.
Yes. Yeah, and it gets it out of your head.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very relieving.
Yeah.
And when you start journaling, no, go ahead. I was going to say, when you start journaling, you start also removing stuff, because I started realizing that a lot of those things were leading towards the same outcomes. I didn't have to do all of them. I could pick one of them, and you could start decluttering your life a little bit, because I was doing way too much stuff, way too much.
That's
so, but that comes in the process of self-discovery and taking the time to do that.
Yeah.
It will give you so much space.
Okay. That's great.
Space.
Yeah. Thank you. That's helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I need the reminder.
Yes, it is
So
good.
thank you.
Good. So 2 things. One, Muriel, I want to give you extra support for, it's your daughter, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I honestly, since I don't have kids, I can't imagine how challenging that is. So staying centered will be very good for you, but also lean in, and you get to complain on the forum. You don't have to be all PC or spiritual or sounding right. You get to go on there and bitch if you want to, and that's fine too.
That's appreciated.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the other thing is, it looks like it was the most popular is to do our special nonlinear movement method class next Tuesday. Since it's our night off. But if you needed the night off, I didn't want to take it away from you, but y'all came up with the idea. So does that work for you ladies? Okay.
Yes.
So then I will send out an email now, and I will send out more reminder emails, and I will put it on the forum, but we will plan to be here together next. Well, God, I got to make sure I can do it. Jesus Christ. Okay. Yes. So then we will meet, and it will take just over an hour. Okay? So just like 7 to probably 8:15 our time. So just about an hour and 15 minutes.
And you still have the one on Saturday, right?
Still have the one on Saturday, which you can all come to that too. Believe me, you can't do it enough. You can't do it too many times.
I'm sorry, what time is the Saturday one?
It's noon my time, so 11 your time.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's great. That's a 2-hour, because that's the whole, like I'm doing, anyway, you'll see. So, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for being there for each other. Thank you for being there for yourselves. Keep breathing and being kind in your mind. And I get to see you Saturday and next Tuesday. Bye, ladies.
Bye.
So much love. And
Bye, everybody. Thank
this
you.
class of the
Bye.
Woman Group Training. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.